At 9, you open the draft that needs your best thinking. Before the first paragraph settles, a message pulls you toward a small request. Then you check the reaction to yesterday's work. Then another cue looks urgent. By lunch, you have touched almost everything and finished almost nothing. The day feels busy, but the work you wanted to be proud of is still open. Field studies of information work have observed this kind of fragmented activity, and the cost is not just the minutes spent answering each interruption. Every return has an entry cost. You reread the unfinished work, recover the decision you were making, and try to rebuild your concentration. Experiments on task switching suggest that when we leave work unfinished, some attention can remain with the previous task and interfere with the next one, rush the handoff, and a preventable defect creates rework. See no obvious improvement after several attempts, and disappointment makes quitting feel rational. Add more hours, and pressure can become exhaustion rather than meaning. Even very large performance rewards have reduced performance on some experimental tasks, although the effect depends on the task. Speed, approval, switching, and impatience can reinforce one another until activity rises while depth, confidence, and pride fall. By the end of this video, you will have a 5-part way to turn one ordinary role into a craft practice you can test this week. First, define what you make and whom it serves. Second, choose the quality detail that protects trust. Third, practice one weak subskill through small changes and feedback. Fourth, use 5 attributes of mastery as a behavior check. Fifth, redesign the conditions around your attention. These tools can improve the next work cycle. They cannot repair exploitation, unsafe conditions, illness, or an impossible workload, and they are not a reason to endure any of them. The alternative is the Shokunin mindset, a craft spirit centered on skill, care for the work, and responsibility toward the people who receive it. One written expression associated with this idea is commonly read Shokunin katagi and glossed as the spirit or temperament of a craftsperson. I will use the broader phrase Shokunin mindset. In an influential account, Japanese carpenter Toshio Odate describes the Shokunin as combining technical ability with attitude and social responsibility. That is one craftsperson's articulation, not proof of a single timeless belief shared by every Japanese artisan. Its practical question is still powerful. What if passion is not always waiting to be discovered? Research on interest development suggests that interest can sometimes grow through repeated, meaningful engagement. That is a possibility, not a guarantee that every job will become a calling. Number 1. Define your vocation as a craft. Vocation means a role or responsibility that you choose to take seriously. Treating it as a craft means seeing that responsibility as a set of learnable skills used to produce something useful for someone. You do not have to carve wood, throw clay, or make sushi. Teaching, repairing, designing, caring, analyzing, cooking, coding, and organizing can all contain craft when you can identify the work, the recipient, and the skills that shape the result. In ordinary life, this changes the question. Instead of asking, "Do I feel passionate enough about my job?" ask 3 things. What do I make or enable? Who has to use the result? Which component skill most affects that person's experience? A teacher's work is not one vague talent called teaching. It includes explaining, listening, choosing examples, noticing confusion, and revising the next attempt. A software engineer may separate problem framing, implementation, testing, and explanation. A marketer may separate research, writing, analysis, and audience judgment. Once the role becomes a field of specific skills, improvement has somewhere to begin. Imagine a teacher demonstrating a difficult idea with ordinary objects. The learner still hesitates, so the teacher does not conclude, "I am not meant for this." She notices that one transition was unclear, changes that part, and watches what the learner can do next. The recipient's outcome becomes evidence. This is where service matters. Care for the learner gives the teacher a reason to improve the explanation. Seth Godin uses the word art for a generous, personal contribution intended to create change in another person. That is his philosophical framework, not a scientific category, but it offers a useful test. Did your work help someone in the way it was meant to? Try a craft audit during your next work session. Choose one recurring output. Name the person who receives or depends on it. Break the output into component skills, then select one weak component that you can actually practice. When the work reaches its recipient, check whether that part served them better. Service is an integrity test, not an order to accept exploitation. It does not require unpaid labor, self-erasure, or loyalty to an abusive workplace. Interest may grow as skill and usefulness become visible, but changing roles can also be a responsible act. Number 2. Prioritize quality over quantity. Kodawari is often used for persistent care about a chosen detail or standard. Monozukuri literally concerns making things and is commonly rendered as craftsmanship or the art of making things. Put together, the practical lesson is simple. Decide which details make the work accurate, useful, safe, or trustworthy, and give those details deliberate care. Quality is not the same as slowness, luxury, or polishing everything forever. It is fitness for purpose. For a bicycle mechanic, the meaningful detail may be whether a repaired brake holds under pressure before the bicycle returns to its rider. For a cook, it may be whether one prepared component is safe and consistent before service. For an office worker, it may be catching a physical mismatch before the file reaches a colleague. None of these people needs to perfect every visible surface. They need to know which detail protects the person receiving the work. Quality becomes trust made observable. Choose one recurring output and define one visible acceptance test before you begin. Complete the work, then perform one deliberate final pass against that test. If you find a defect, correct it and note what would prevent it next time. Then stop. The standard must fit the purpose, deadline, risk, team agreement, and recipient's actual need. If you keep adjusting a harmless detail while someone waits for a useful result, attention to detail has become avoidance. Shokunin quality is not suffering for its own sake. It is selective care directed toward a trustworthy handoff. Number 3. Deliberate practice and the math of Kaizen. Deliberate practice means working on one specific weakness in a way designed to improve it, then using feedback to adjust the next attempt. Kaizen means improvement, especially continuous improvement through successive manageable changes. Repetition alone can preserve a routine. Deliberate practice changes one component, checks the result, and uses what happened to shape the next trial. Kaizen keeps that learning cycle moving without demanding an overnight transformation. A musician who restarts an entire piece after the same mistake may simply rehearse the mistake again. Deliberate practice isolates the difficult passage, slows the attempt, listens for the exact break, and adjusts one movement. A potter might change one hand position and inspect the resulting rim. A writer might ask a trusted reader one narrow question about clarity instead of asking, "Is this good?" In each case, the goal is not more repetition. It is better information about one weakness. The familiar 1% better idea makes the intuition of accumulation memorable. A small improvement repeated across many cycles can matter far more than it appears to matter today. But human ability does not increase by a fixed daily percentage, and the popular compounding calculation is not a measured law of mastery. Some changes stick, some stall, and some reveal that the method itself needs revision. In Toyota's stated philosophy, continuous improvement sits beside respect for people. That pairing is a useful guardrail. Improvement should refine the work without treating the worker as disposable. Run one small improvement cycle. Choose one subskill. Make a small set of focused attempts. Get immediate information from the result or from a trusted observer. Select one adjustment and test that adjustment during the next session. Keep the evidence concrete, a clearer explanation, a steadier rim, a cleaner transition, a correctly fitted part, or a reader who can now follow the difficult passage. If early progress is hard to see, do not measure success only by a dramatic breakthrough. Ask whether the practice is producing better information and a more precise next step. Deliberate practice contributes to performance, but research does not support the claim that it explains every difference in expertise. Its value varies across domains, and outcomes also depend on instruction, opportunity, health, resources, prior experience, and the quality of feedback. Patience does not mean repeating an ineffective method forever. If the result never changes, inspect the design, seek a more experienced observer, reduce the difficulty, or stop a harmful setup. Realistic persistence stays loyal to learning, not to one failing routine. Number 4. The 5 elements of mastery. The 5 elements are a practical behavior check. Majime means serious or earnest attention. Kojoshin means aspiration or the desire to improve. Seiketsukan means a sense of cleanliness and order. Gonko means stubbornness, used here as firmness about consequential standards. Jonetsu means passion. The documentary Jiro Dreams of Sushi describes 5 closely related attributes in English through food critic Masuhiro Yamamoto's account of a great chef. The Japanese labels in this episode organize those attributes as a memorable framework. The reviewed transcript does not verify that Yamamoto personally named all 5 with these exact labels. Majime appears when a person gives an ordinary task the attention its consequences deserve, even when nobody is applauding. It could be a nurse preparing a routine handoff carefully, a technician checking a familiar connection, or a teacher reading a learner's confused expression instead of rushing ahead. Kojoshin appears when the person asks what could improve and welcomes usable feedback. It is not restless ambition for a higher status. It is the refusal to let today's method become invisible merely because it is familiar. Seiketsukan appears when a person prepares a usable work area so necessary tools, materials, and hazards are clear. Order supports the task. It is not a moral judgment about someone's home or mind. Ganko appears when a mechanic refuses to return an unsafe bicycle or an analyst refuses to hide a consequential error while remaining willing to listen to colleagues. Jonetsu appears as engaged care that can sustain return to meaningful work. It may feel quiet rather than dramatic. Passion here is devotion with boundaries, not permanent excitement. Jiro Dreams of Sushi presents Jiro Ono as an artisan still examining his work after decades of repetition. Yamamoto's account emphasizes seriousness, aspiration to improve cleanliness, stubborn standards, and passion. The useful lesson is not that everyone should copy Jiro's schedule, temperament, workplace, or sacrifices. It is that mastery becomes visible through repeated behaviors. Preparing carefully, noticing what could improve, maintaining the conditions of the work, defending important standards, and returning with genuine engagement. Admiration becomes practical only when those behaviors can be translated into a life that is actually yours. Choose the weakest element in one current role. Do not choose the word that sounds most impressive. Choose the behavior whose absence is causing a real problem. If Majime is weak, prepare one routine task with full attention. If Kojoshin is weak, request one specific piece of feedback. If Seiketsukan is weak, clear and prepare the immediate work surface. If Ganko is weak, refuse one consequential shortcut and explain why. If Jonetsu is weak, identify whether any part of the work still feels worth serving, learning, or changing. Convert the chosen element into one action you can observe during the next session. Each element needs a boundary. Earnestness is not self-erasure. Improvement is not permanent dissatisfaction. Cleanliness is not a proven cure for poor concentration. Firmness must not become contempt for collaborators or refusal to update a mistaken standard. Passion is not permission to work until collapse. Sustainable craft includes rest, consent, teamwork, and the freedom to change direction. Sometimes the most responsible expression of standards is ending the shift, asking for help, renegotiating the demand, or leaving work that is causing harm. Number 5. Re-engineering your workspace and flow. Environment design means arranging the space and routine so the chosen work is easier to begin and avoidable distraction takes more effort. The goal is not to guarantee flow. It is to create a protected interval in which one task has a fair chance to continue. In daily life, that means preparing the necessary tools, moving optional distractions beyond immediate reach, negotiating an interruption boundary, and making the path to useful feedback clear. Try one focus block as a reversible experiment. Keep only the tools required for the chosen task within reach. If it is safe, place your phone on a visible shelf or charging surface beyond immediate reach rather than beside your hands. 2 experiments have reported lower available cognitive capacity when participants' own smartphones were present, even when unused. But that does not prove that distance helps every person or every task. Preserve one emergency channel. If you work with others, agree on a temporary signal for what can wait and what genuinely requires interruption. Then begin one defined output and compare the ease of starting, the number of avoidable switches, and whether the work reaches completion. Finish the block by asking a trusted person for one specific piece of feedback. Protected attention without feedback can make a mistake more polished. Feedback reconnects focus to the recipient. Treat desk order, phone distance, screen-free time, and digital detox as experiments, not cures. Preserve urgent communication, caregiving, accessibility, safety, and team coordination. The World Health Organization classifies burnout as an occupational phenomenon associated with chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. A cleaner desk is not treatment, and individual environment changes cannot repair harassment, impossible workloads, or insecure employment. Sometimes the craftful action is to raise the workload problem with another person rather than optimizing yourself around it. Now replay the opening day with a different sequence. The worker names one useful output and the person waiting for it. They choose one weak sub-skill, protect one focus block, and move the phone beyond immediate reach. Before handoff, they check the one detail that matters. A trusted person responds to one specific question, and that answer shapes the next attempt. The result is not instant mastery. It is something more credible, one completed, trustworthy cycle with less rework and a clearer next step. Pride and interest may grow from cycles like this, but they cannot be forced. The problem was not a lack of secret talent. It was a work cycle ruled by speed, approval, switching, and the demand for immediate results. The Shokunin alternative is to define the craft and recipient, choose a purpose-sized quality test, practice one weakness through small feedback-led improvements, use Majime, Kojoshin, Seiketsuken, Gunko, and Yonetsu as a bounded behavior check, and design the environment so attention has a fair chance. Mastery remains a journey, not a finish line, and passion may emerge through meaningful engagement rather than arriving fully formed. Which of the 5 needs attention in your current craft? Majime, Kojoshin, Seiketsukan, Ganko, or Jonatsu? In the comments, name the element and one observable action you will test next. If this framework gave you a useful next step, tap like. Share it with a friend or colleague who feels caught between speed and meaningful work, and subscribe for more evidence-aware explorations of focus, attention, and human performance. Stay focused and honor your craft without sacrificing yourself to it.